wakulekela wewine ulewe.
Amita pendwa ya vintu ifisume vyoto kula kuibukisha Tana depotimo wimbo wa temenu wa katongi Awazunga wajita katongi na kula kuibukisha kateka Na ibukubu na kapona Neseko siove pamenso Yangu ama umemaya Iyaba ume Iyaba
Konke milimo shove
baba ume ale filamba yena minta pengo shile eti kume mokulo ndolole abale lilo wingi
iseko wingi mwakwete iseko wingi mwakwete mwaya mwende wino tata wesu
katushi muchi wakege wali bomba kale nomba mwatu katuleli laki Mupanga chiba
Penda Mupanga mwine Oya mwine Ide lalila
Yangu ya mama ume Ala nacho mwabye Mama Good evening and welcome to today's broadcast. We've had an eventful week and we're glad to the guests that we hosted during this period. We were privileged yesterday to host Dr. Fred Membe and Dr. Cosmas Musumali, socialist top leadership, and they were committing to you that they are committed to help the opposition unite and provide probably single program, at least common best programs, such as the ones in health, education, and primarily infrastructure, and how the opposition could front maybe a flag bearer. They went into detail over the other matter. We also were privileged to host Citizen First President, Honorable Harry Kalaba. He also went into details of his programs for Citizen First, and he also pledged that he's willing to be led or to lead, like Fred Membe he also committed. Fred Membe committed that he's ready to lead or to be led. I think that's a commitment we want from the opposition. So we are on a quest and on a path to bring to you, to your program here, the opposition. We're going to have Honorable KBF. He has confirmed he'll be here on Tuesday. We'll be running promos, and I think Honorable Sakwiba Scotta on Monday, but we'll let you know. But for Tuesday, we have the confirmation, and Wednesday, we have the confirmation with Honorable Given Luwinda. We'll bring as many opposition leaders as possible so that you can ask them and question them on their commitment to the upcoming elections, and what is a social contract, what are they committing themselves to. We are also reaching out to the church, to labor unions, to see if they can come and give us a perspective of their commitment to the elections in 2026. Today is a big day. Many people are expecting an update from the court process that is going on between the state and the family of the late President Edgar Lungu. Let's just walk back. We brief ourselves why we are where we are. On June 5th, we woke up to very sad news as a country and the world that the late president had died after a short illness. He had been in South Africa since January 2025. On this particular day, on 5th June, he passed on after undergoing what was a medical procedure, and the current issue then started. The government sent Mulambo Haimbe, who's a Minister of Foreign Affairs, the following day, and he went with a plane, a ZAF plane, and with a very limited delegation. His quest was to discuss with the family and repatriate the remains of the late president to Zambia. That was the first disagreement that occurred. I remember that Saturday. The late president died on Thursday. Friday, Honorable Mulambo Haimbe arrived, and there was those discussions Friday night and Saturday where the first impasse arose. The issue was that, look, government just can't come and pick the body. The family had been in South Africa for the last 6 months. There were various issues that had preceded where they were. Government had not even sent any delegation to see how the late president was doing, how the president was recuperating in South Africa for his both medical checkup and then the subsequent medical treatment. That was the first time we had an inkling that there was an issue between government and the state. When the talks broke down, Mulambo Haimbe traveled back, but one of the issues was that the funeral of the late president and the body could come to Lusaka the following Wednesday. I think that was the 12th, the following Wednesday, and that there was a church service that was arranged by the community in South Africa, and that the family felt very strongly that the late president's body couldn't be transported any earlier than that Tuesday, because they wanted to honor the people that had helped them be with the late president in South Africa. And on Tuesday, we had that wonderful send-off by the South African. There was at a cathedral in Pretoria, Father Harrison Mulenga and 7 Zambian priests presided over that ceremony. And then we had that announcement at the end of the ceremony. The family spokesperson, Honorable Makebi Zulu, came and announced to the family that the body was not going to be repatriated the following day on Wednesday, because it was scheduled to come to Zambia. And he announced that there were issues that they were still discussing with government. Lucky enough, the delegation led by Patrick Chagwa, the Secretary to Cabinet, had replaced a delegation that was earlier led by Mulambo Haimbe. So Patrick Chagwa had come with Honorable former Vice President Enoch Kavindele and former Secretary to Cabinet Mr. Leslie Mbula, who also was previously Zambia's High Commissioner to South Africa. So there were negotiations and they were hammering out the particular details. So I think Zambians understood, the family understood, everyone understood that these talks needed to take place. And remember, the talks were delayed for number one. There was an incident that occurred a day before they could hold that church service. On 9th June, persons identifying themselves as coming from the state attempted to take the remains of the late president. They said the ZAF plane was waiting at Lanseria Airport and they had instructions to take the body. The family was called and there was utter shock. Lucky enough, the hospital couldn't release the body because they said under the rules in South Africa, only the next of kin, who was Mama First Lady, could sign off for the body to be released. That's how the family became aware, because then they were informed that there were people to pick the body. In the evenings, government denied any knowledge. I think our dear brother Cornelius Mwetwa, whose government chief spokesperson, was somewhere in Mauritius or Kenya. He issued a statement assuring the family that they will respect the wishes of the family and that they will not take the remains of the late president without their knowledge. And he said they were investigating who these people that had turned up at the hospital to pick the body. So that had become an issue leading up to the church service with those tensions. Who are these people that attempted to take the body? And they were saying the ZAF plane was waiting at Lanseria Airport. After the church service, the family went into negotiations. And I think by Sunday, we got that announcement that the discussions had taken place by Thursday. I think that was Thursday that week. I have to look at the dates clearly. But you saw that big press conference where an agreement was announced. Let's just have a bit of it as we build up to what happened today, because I have to walk you through that so that we all are just agreed. So the press conference took place. We'll just get a bit of it, not all of it.
We thank you that this is the day that you have made, and that in it we rejoice before you, knowing that you are a God who is concerned with the affairs of our country, Zambia. Even for this joint press statement, we just want to pray that you will be able to join us together in one spirit as a nation, even as we mourn our dear departed, the late 60th President, Dr.
Edgar Lungu, and the government of the Republic of Zambia. I present a statement on behalf of the family. The family of the former President, Edgar Lungu, who passed away in South Africa on the 5th of June 2025, wishes to announce that it has reached agreement with representatives of the government on the repatriation of the remains of the late former president, as well as his funeral and burial program. This follows the resolution of the impasse that had caused disagreement between the two parties. We wish to thank the former heads of state in the SADC region and head of state in the SADC region for their intervention in this matter. We also wish to thank the clergy that took time to engage for the final resolution in this matter. Ladies and gentlemen, you may be aware that in January this year, former President Lungu traveled to South Africa for medical review. Through the goodwill of well-wishers who also generously covered both his medical and living expenses until his demise. At no time did the administration take any interest in his well-being during his illness when he was alive. Former President Lungu's settled wishes were that in the event of his death, those who never showed any interest in his welfare while he was alive should not be allowed to pretend to be interested in his welfare in death. His specific wishes and those of the family are as follows. 1. His remains should be repatriated back home in the same manner he had traveled to South Africa, namely privately. Secondly, his body should lie instead at his personal residence in Chifwema area prior to burial. Thirdly, in the event that he was accorded state funeral, his successor should not be allowed to attend it. Fourth, residents of Eastern and Copperbelt provinces be accorded the opportunity to pay their last respects, as these are the places where he was born and grew up. And fifthly, that Archbishop Dr. Alik Banda be requested to preside over the church service that may be held in his honor. Following the former president's death, the family has been engaged in protracted negotiations with the Hichilema administration, which it requested to guarantee that the wishes of the former president will be honored. The negotiations were never about pending matters in court relating to any of the members of the family or associates of the former president. And I'm sure Secretary to the Cabinet may agree that that was never the discussion in those meetings, and that never even arose in our negotiations. The spirit of the discussions were to honor the wishes of President Edgar Lungu, the family, and give the Zambian people an opportunity to mourn their leader with dignity. The state had previously refused to have the family repatriate the remains using a private charter. The state had also previously refused to have the body lay in state at his home for the period of the mourning. Instead, the state had required that the remains upon arrival would be taken to Mulungushi Conference Center to be received by President Hakainde Hichilema, and that the family found unacceptable, and hence the protracted negotiations. The two parties have since agreed to honoring the following undertakings, with each party giving and taking so that we could come to a common compromise. And the following has been the compromise. Number one, that the body of the late President Lungu shall be transported together with the family from Lanseria Airport in South Africa to Zambia on Wednesday, 18th June 2025, using a private charter made available to the family by well-wishers. Secondly, that following the arrival and receipt of the body by family members in Lusaka, full military honors will be conducted at the Kenneth Kaunda International Airport, after which the body shall be taken to the funeral house in Chifwema, where it will lie instead. Thirdly, that the body of the late former president will be taken to Mulungushi International Conference Center on Thursday, 19th June, Friday, 20th June, and Saturday, 21st June, to enable members of the public to pay their last respects from 09 hours to 16 hours, after which it shall be returned on all days to the funeral house in Chifwema to lie instead. That the state funeral that will host foreign dignitaries shall be held at Mulungushi Conference Center on Sunday, 22nd June, and the body of former President Lungu shall be taken to the venue and returned to Chifwema after the event, where it will lie instead. That a valedictory session will be held at the Supreme Court grounds in honor of former President Lungu, a lawyer by profession, on Monday, 23rd June, to be followed by a church service on the same day in the showgrounds in Lusaka, one that would be conducted by His Grace Archbishop Alik Banda. That the body of the late former president shall always lie in state at the funeral house in Chifwema and only be taken away for the above stated functions during the day, after which it shall be returned to the funeral house every day to lie in state at the conclusion of these events. That the body of the late president shall always be accompanied by a relative, the aide-de-camp, and the former president's personal physician. That the period of national mourning shall be extended, and that the two parties shall always consult and agree on who speaks at all events. And further, to avoid the confusion that has been ongoing relating to the Patriotic Front Party, that Honorable Given Lubinda will speak on behalf of the Patriotic Front Party. It is important to emphasize that the family is proceeding based on the guarantees given by the government of the Republic of Zambia that they will not deviate from our agreement or betray the trust of the family and the wishes of the former president. The family hopes that this outcome will bring this matter to a close and avoid further trauma to the family and millions of affected ordinary Zambians. We wish to express our heartfelt gratitude to the Zambian people at home and away who gave the late former president their love, both in life and in death. Your outpouring of love has strengthened us and lightened our burden. We would also like to thank the leadership and general membership of the Patriotic Front, Tonse Alliance partners for their undying support and loyalty to the late former president. We understand that the events of the preceding days and weeks have been difficult for many ordinary Zambians, and especially the supporters and political colleagues of the late former president. We apologize most sincerely for the inconvenience and pain that the protracted negotiations may have caused, but we were doing our best to honor the former president's personal wishes. We further regret that the desire to have the remains moved from Lusaka to Petauke, his home village, and Kitwe, a place where he grew up in, were not acceptable to the government, and thus urge all that would wish to pay their respect to make use of the 3 days of body viewing in Lusaka. We apologize that this will not happen, but can only urge government to reconsider that position. It is the hope of the family that the former president, President Edgar Lungu, will be mourned with dignity, respect, and unity. We thank you for your understanding, and we hope that we can move on as one Zambia and one nation.
Thank you very much. So then what happened? The conditions were very, very clear by the family that they were proceeding with releasing the body and abandoning what should have been a private funeral and surrendering it to the state on the conditions that Honorable Makebi Zulu read out. The following day, when the body should have gone to Zambia, it didn't go. Everyone was packed. Everyone was going to the airport. Even our media were at the airport. The South African Defence Force was at the airport. Everyone was at the airport. And the family had also packed because they were supposed to accompany the body. The plane was ready. The chartered plane that was hired. So what happened? What happened is very simple. The previous night, a program was released by Cabinet Office, first shared on Koswe. You know Koswe is a rogue media run by President Hakainde Hichilema from State Out and his media team. And then later shared personally. I was broadcasting of this good news and urging our members to turn up, to line up. Then I just saw on my phone, a PS from Cabinet Office, Teta Mashimba's update. You know how Facebook does. So she posted the program of the late president that was going to happen the following day. And on the program, I even remember sharing it on the platform. The program substantially differed in nuances and details from the outline and the agreement that Honorable Makebi Zulu read. First, earlier in the night, the family became aware that the road to Chifwema from Crossroads, Leopard Zoo Road, up to Chifwema will be closed because RDA will begin public works to do some works, patch up and repair of the road, and also to create, I'm told, some drainage on the road to the new road that comes from Leopard Zoo Road to President Hakainde Hichilema's home. So the family got concerned. What are these roadworks that are going to take place when the body is supposed to go to Chifwema? We can see that the state is going to say it's not up to us. RDA is doing public works. Therefore, the body should go to Maina Soko instead of Chifwema. That was the first crisis in the night before the travel. Patrick Chagwa, I think, was gracious enough, Secretary to Cabinet. Within an hour, he produced a fresh statement from RDA that cancelled the repair of that road and stated that the road repairs would be moved from the date that was prepared, I think 18th June to 28th June, way after the burial of the late president. Then that program then came up. The concerns around that program was that there was going to be a private church service at the airport. You all have that program. You can refer to it. And when the body arrives, the remains arrive, the guard of honor and all the distinguished honor that is given by the Zambia Army or by the Defense Forces was going to be done. Then they were going to move for a private church service. I don't know where it was going to be. Maybe in the VIP room. So the family got concerned. This program, what about this private church service? And what about these roadworks that you are talking about? Who will attend this church service? In the morning, on the program, there were supposed to be spouses to former ministers to the late president, former ministers, spouses to the late president, were supposed to come and receive the first lady, the widow. There was an issue that day. I think clearance and cards were not given the following day. Up to that day, the cards were not given for these that were supposed to release the family, the former first lady. So the family, as at the day of departure, Cabinet Office, Patrick Chagwa and everyone now stopped to answer the phones. I think they were trying to trick them to travel anyway, despite all these concerns. The family had to regret at 10 hours. They were supposed to leave at 12 hours because it's a 2-hour flight to Zambia. They had no choice but to communicate to the South African government that we are putting off the travel and the family will be issuing a statement, because the concerns were not taken into account. And remember, there were reports that the entire airport road was cordoned off by heavy police presence, where people then would not be allowed probably to watch the hearse when it brings the remains of the late president. So there were all those issues, and the family felt it was not safe to bring the body. So there was that huge crisis. The family had to cancel that travel, regrettably so. And they said, we'll announce to you, we probably have to engage government again over our concerns until our concerns are attended. Until all these issues are resolved, we will only transport the remains of the late president upon these issues. Now we saw an adverse reaction from government. The following day, the president addressed the country and cancelled the period of national mourning, and he said Zambians should proceed. I think I have the video somewhere. I'll get it for you. Zambians should proceed to go back to normalcy. They will respect the plans and wishes of the family. That was President Hakainde Hichilema. He cancelled the period of national mourning. Remember, we were supposed to bury on 23rd, Monday 23rd of June. President Hakainde Hichilema on Thursday, 19th June, cancelled the period of national mourning, urged the country to go back to normalcy. Cosway and other media even began to publish that the constitutional bill was going to be presented. Zambia had more important things to do than worry about a body that is in South Africa. President Hakainde Hichilema, in his own words, says he would respect what the family would do. So on Thursday, the family waited. No one was answering the phone calls. They sat, and the family decided that they'll put to rest the president in South Africa. And they made that announcement. Or the following day, I think that was Friday. And they announced that the late president will be put to rest on Wednesday, 25th June. President Hakainde Hichilema had told the country to go back to normalcy. And preparations were underway. There was no one who traveled to South Africa during this period to dissuade the family or to attempt to tell the family to abandon the plans to put a president to rest. The family proceeded, because remember, they had filled in all their forms, all the forms regarding the repatriation of the president. They gave the embassy the death certificate. They filled in the forms for export of the remains of the body of a departed person. They surrendered all the documents relating to the repatriation. And those documents began to appear. Simon Mwewa, Chilufya Tayari, and Koswe began to publish death certificates. They even began to question, has he really died? Can you imagine publishing the death certificate of the late president? That even shows the cause of his death. Can you imagine? The family was now resolved that I think government had crossed a line that they can never go back to. Why would you publish these documents given in total confidence to the embassy for purposes of transporting the body? Why would they find themselves on Koswe and other pages? Why would the nation be given the death certificate of the late president, yet you are saying you want to give him a dignified funeral? So the family now just resolved. And then there was a heightened attacks on them. The slander, the defamation, the hate speech, the State House trying to rally the country against the family. The family realized that it was extremely hostile for them to bury in Zambia. And they proceeded to make preparations. So Archbishop Alik Banda traveled. It was a wish of the late president that Archbishop Alik Banda, the Catholic Archbishop of the Metropolitan Archdiocese of Lusaka, must preside over the funeral. And preparations were made, and we made an announcement. And Zambians traveled. Planes the last 2 days before that day on Wednesday, 25th June, were full. Buses were full. Others traveled by road. Zambians in South Africa from other provinces traveled, and they gathered at the cathedral. The night before the burial, the funeral and burial, we saw the usual Koswe, ZMBC, Kalemba publish that an action had been taken by the Attorney General, that he was requesting that a Pretoria High Court interdicts both the funeral and the burial, and that the burial should not take place. The family had its meetings. They were now forced to look for a lawyer. Looking for a lawyer in South Africa is extremely expensive. We've discussed the matter here on this program. In South Africa, law, the way it's practiced, is practiced as a business. It's an investment. If you have millions of dollars or millions of rands, you set up a law firm, then employ lawyers. Here in Zambia, my brother Dixon Jere can just set up Dixon Jere and Partners, or my dear brother John Sangwa and Partners. That's how it's done in Zambia. In South Africa, it's a huge investment. Companies come together and form and then employ lawyers. So lawyers are not your ordinary people. Fida tuchitatao basangwa ina banjikata iseni indalama tukafoyanga shamoneka mukesa nchita represent. The family was forced to look for a lawyer in the night, so that that lawyer could represent them the following day in the morning. You can imagine the stress the family was further put on. Government is using public resources. They don't have to look for money. They'll just tell Musokotwane to pay whatever bill that the lawyers in South Africa demanded. It was a distressing period. You saw the widow the following day. Instead of being at church, she was in a court of law in Pretoria. You saw the family. They were in a court of law in Pretoria, a day they are supposed to put to rest the president. There was an agreement. You know, interdict is an injunction. It can be given ex parte or inter parte. The lawyers advised that in South Africa, usually injunctions are granted, then the parties are allowed to argue, because the court wants to understand what is happening. So they will usually grant that injunction. So after that advice, an agreement was hammered out between the Attorney General's lawyers and President Lungu's family's lawyers that what should happen is that let's not even argue this injunction. We're just going to waste 3, 4, 5 days arguing about this injunction. Let's just proceed. We'll halt the burial program. The funeral will just become, it will no longer be a requiem service, but it will just be a church service and like a memorial. And then there'll be an opportunity between the state and the family maybe to resolve. The family and the state agreed, and that injunction or interdict was a rare one because it was mutual agreement by both parties that they abandon that issue. They don't really argue for the injunction and that there should be a settlement. The court stopped the burial. The church service proceeded. South African government issued a statement, discussed the matter in cabinet, and even issued a public statement urging the Zambian government and the family to use this opportunity between 25th June and 18th June, when both parties are supposed to submit, to come to some mutual understanding to see that the remains of the late president are repatriated to Zambia. Unfortunately, what has happened is escalated hostility causeway, and the influencers that have been speaking on these matters from President Hakainde Hichilema made the environment extremely hostile. They've even now escalated it. You saw even an international organization. Now there is a new narrative that the family has so much millions of dollars that they want to remain in South Africa. Yet President Edgar Lungu was struggling even to pay the medical bills. I don't think the medical bills have even been cleared. They were living in a rented house, in a rented flat, because where they are is a complex of many flats. If you are a millionaire, you stay on your own yard with no neighbors. You don't live in one complex. But they were, for the last 6 months, were living in a complex, what you would call literally a rented flat. But President Hichilema and the State House have now embarked on this scandalization of the family. You saw this, let's see, this family that was, this group that was organized, from our understanding, it was organized by Brentes Foundation. Let's see, do I have it? The press conference that was... Just a minute, give me a minute. I want to show you this press conference that was held by a group calling itself Progressives of South Africa. We know that they are organized by State House. State House might deny, but we can tell you very confidently that this group from South Africa was organized by Zambia State House. In fact, it should put to question, we even know how much they were paid. We know how much they were paid. Today was Nelson Mandela Day in South Africa. There are people that were willing to speak to us, but today was Nelson Mandela Day. I was going to bring them here to demonstrate what I am stating. But the period between 25th June to today, 18th July, has not been utilized to resolve the crisis. There were low-level people that were sent to South Africa to attempt to speak to the president. I'm aware of my dear brother, Professor Dr. Edgar Ngoma. He traveled to South Africa. He says it is his own initiative that he was speaking to President Hakainde Hichilema, and he was hoping to speak to the family that he could help resolve this issue. I'm aware that Kaweche Kaunda, the son to the late president, whose matter is similar to this impasse, had also traveled to South Africa. We are aware of many people that have traveled to South Africa and have attempted to see the family. I think the First Lady and the family have been in a retreat, in a prayer retreat, and because the environment is so toxic, if they open social media, if they see these live videos, if they see these newspapers, yesterday now there was a scandal exported right in South Africa where they are being told that they should leave South Africa. An agitation done by State House, not anybody else. And so the family have been in a prayer retreat and they're relying on the lawyers to resolve this matter in court. So then what happened today? People are asking, is it Judgment Day? No. Judgment will be on 8. It will be, I think, 18th August. The calendar is as follows. The Attorney General, after he obtained an interdict, was given up to 3rd July to make his submissions. Then the family were supposed to respond, which the family did. So we saw the Attorney General now bring fresh demands. Number one, he wanted the remains of the late president to be repatriated. He wanted the South African government and the family to surrender the body of the late president, that it should be repatriated to Zambia. And then the family responded that, first of all, the body belongs to the next of kin, not to President Hakainde Hichilema or to the state of Zambia. It belongs to the state of, to the next of kin. 2, the environment in Zambia is extremely hostile for the family, and that no dignified funeral can take place. They'll be participating in hypocrisy if they were to bring the remains of the late president to Zambia, because of all these piled up insults by praise singers. President Hakainde Hichilema has never stopped these praise singers and Koswe and other people. He has never stopped them. In fact, the abuse, the hate speech has been transported even to ZMBC. Chiefs have been lined up to attempt to show that the family is just selfish. Surrender the body, surrender the body. But no one is speaking to the condition that the family gave, that President Hakainde Hichilema stays away from the body. No one is urging President Hakainde Hichilema to step aside to allow the funeral to take place. But there have been queues and queues. Surrender the body, surrender the body, surrender the body. So the environment is toxic. The family recounted, I think the former First Lady recounted, how President Edgar Lungu was humiliated in life, was embarrassed, was harassed, how they themselves are in courts of law, how they were stopped again and again to travel, especially the late president. So today the Attorney General, or 18th, he was responding. People thought it's Judgment Day. No. Remember, he put out, I want a body. So the family responded. So now he is responding to the family. And he has made some disclosures that I want to come and discuss when I come after this break. So that then I invite you to, I'll speak to the submissions that he has made. So the calendar is very clear. The Attorney General has responded to the First Lady's petition that was responding to him. And on 24th, the lawyers for the family again have to respond. Now you have a complete picture. Then trial will begin on 3rd and 4th of August. Then the court, a bench of 3, will rule on 18th August. That is a calendar. So let's come back. What has the Attorney General said in his current submission in the Gauteng Court, Pretoria Division today? What did he file? I'll read to you.
Abazunga batita katongi nagula kwibukiza kateka kaibukubuna kapona neseko syove pamenso yangwa maume baya iyaba maume iyaba maume
kateka wabantu twakulira lelo twakulira kukonke milimo shove ale filamba yena minta pengosile leti kumemo kulondolole abale lilo wingi iseko wingi mwakwete iseso wingi mwakwete mwaya mwende wino tata wesu
katusi muchi mokege walibo tulibasira bifuemo bingi twalaba badinotiwe nangu tulalaba uti tuwalaba badinotiwe mama nangu tulalaba webo ukulabe ebyo wati tobwingi ibisebo wapagiri obwingi ukuchinja oluzago kumoneko busaka mama
From what we see, what we read, they are handling the funeral in a manner African funerals must be handled, to respect the dead, to bury them with dignity. President Buhari died in London. He was brought home. We too have shown that example by burying all the 5 before the 6th president, near here. I think it's just behind, isn't it? Near here, all the 5. So we've established a tradition, protocols in line with the African culture. So we must continue with that culture, no matter what challenges, what difficulties there are. And I can't say that we'll continue to engage in the family quietly. Maybe I should confirm that. We'll continue to engage in the family quietly, because that's what it should be. And we do hope that consensus will be reached. And I want to ask Zambians, first, thank you for your patience. And secondly, to ask you to retain that patience as discussions continue.
How can you allow somebody who has murdered your son or your daughter and you are still mourning to come and attend the funeral and be made to speak at the funeral?
But how good your son
was. And you know about it, you say, wait a minute, what's happening? And I think I can just say the whole thing, I summed it up when I spoke to one guy. I said, because how can you, Ambassador, a Catholic, be remembered in a Jehovah's Witness hall?
Yeah.
In the 10th anniversary, or how do you get
to be dishonored?
How do you get remembered in a SDA church when everyone knows that you're Catholic?
Thank you very much, and thank you for joining us. We're giving you an update of what happened in the Pretoria High Court, but I bothered to go back to just a brief history of this matter, just to update one another. So today the Attorney General made submission. It was his period to respond to the First Lady's submission. Her submission were very clear that the wishes of the late president cannot be honored currently by President Hakainde Hichilema, as demonstrated. One of the wishes is that the president should stay away from the funeral. He has not even pledged to do so. The environment is hostile, and the wishes of the late president cannot be respected. Even the so-called dignified funeral will be hypocrisy. They'll be participating in hypocrisy. So the Attorney General has taken offense. He has urged the court to strike out some allegations he thinks were very strong. But for me, I couldn't believe this Attorney General, Murilo Kabesha. Number one, he has admitted that they stopped the late president from going to South Korea. He says the president's trip to South Korea in September 2023 he was going to go to politicize. Now, the president had been invited to a respected annual peace conference. The World Peace Conference has been held, I think, for the last 30, 40 years in South Korea, in Seoul. And President Edgar Lungu, like many leaders in Zambia, were invited. And many leaders in Zambia have been attending this peace conference that takes place in South Korea. The Attorney General has admitted that we stopped him because we felt he was going to politicize. Do we have voters in South Korea? Attorney General says Edgar Lungu was going to politicize or to do politics. He says they refused President Lungu's travel again is it on August? He said in 2023, August, to Ndola. There was a church service that the prayer community in Ndola had organized. They said they stopped him from travel because he was going to politicize the event. Then look at the medical treatment. Remember, the contention here is that persistently, despite government knowing the medical condition of the late president, despite knowing that he needed to attend at least to a medical doctor every 6 months or at least 1 year. And President Lungu last traveled to South Africa to see his medical treatment in 2022. They refused him in 2022, towards the end of 2022. 2023, they refused him 2-3 times. We've shown you the letters here. The Attorney General has admitted, especially the case of September. He says, we didn't allow him to go to South Africa for medical treatment because he didn't disclose to government the type of medical condition and medical treatment that he wanted to go and seek in South Africa. Did President Lungu need to tell government inaka kondokale kalipa inomutuole kalipa na chilana kwate chakale chile kalipa? Did he need to tell them? The submissions and admissions by the Attorney General, preposterous at best and useless at worst. Because how can you admit in sworn documents? Maybe I should read what the Attorney General. Propaganda. Yeah, I want to read what the Attorney General said. So that we want to Akwalesa, you can see 11.1. If you've seen the document of the Attorney General, go to 11.1. The applicant is the Attorney General on behalf of the state. Is the one that has applied to court. So it's called the applicant. President Lungu's family, the 7, are called the defendants. The applicant refused to grant the late president permission to visit South Africa during September 2023. This was because the late President Lungu did not provide the applicant, who is a state, with any particulars of the medical treatment is alleged that he wanted to undergo. So the state refused to allow President Lungu to go to South Africa because he didn't tell them what he was suffering from. But later in the documents, they said, we've been aware that he has a condition. Oh, here it is, 11.4. Finally, I should point out that the late President Lungu entered the borders of South Africa, of the Republic of South Africa, in January 2025 through a diplomatic passport and under circumstances where he has been ill from at least 2015. In the same breath, you are saying we couldn't allow him to travel because we don't know what medical condition or medical treatment he was seeking. Then just in the subsequent paragraph, you say we know he went to South Africa and he entered South Africa using a diplomatic passport in January 2025. We know it is related to his medical condition that he's been undergoing since 2015. Mwe wantu wakwalesa mipamba but lesefia bomba abeneweka bambo ukusumina au tuwale mukanya tuwale wataleshita politic. And what must be made very clear, in September 2023, President Edgar Lungu had not returned to active politics. He had not. If you see the calendar of events, it is in October, on the Memorial Day for President Michael Sata, October 28th, that President Edgar Lungu says, the events of October 24th, where the party has been taken over by surrogates of the state of President Hakainde Hichilema, I'm coming back. I'm foregoing my benefits, my retirement benefits. I am surrendering the security and everything to the state. I'm coming back to fight for democracy. I'm coming back to ensure that the PF is restored. In fact, if there is anything that Given Rubinda, Nakachinda, Brian Munduwil and others should do, is to fulfill that wish of the late president. He made it very clear that he was coming back to politics. He was sacrificing the comfort of being a former head of state. the comfort of being a statesman, to come and rescue the country, to restore the country back to democracy, and to rescue the PF from the clutches of President Hakainde Hichilema, who had taken over the Patriotic Front. So all these events that the Attorney General is citing, and lucky enough, is Pumole Savela. Now become one of my dates Attorney General. And he has said we didn't allow him to travel. The rest of the submissions are for the public media and the state and Koswe to take. But for me, it was profound that the Attorney General has admitted to these issues. I'll open the phone lines and please join me in the debate. The number is 0973078082. It's Friday. Let's have a short conversation. We can close this matter. The president was yesterday at the Nigerian High Commission next to Intercontinental, and you heard the president say that Zambia should learn from Nigeria, where they've put to rest the late president with dignity. Bakateka Buhari awa mutumine ku UK niba government tabaevera ti awe tabamwipusha finshulelo wala finshule foke bali mupela. They gave him a plane, he went to UK. When he died, they sent a vice president. Don't even compare yourself, Mr. President, to that. You are far off, far away. And Buhari has been buried in a backyard in his village, not even in his plush home in Lagos. He's been buried in his village, at his house in the village, in the backyard. But it's a government that took him to the United Kingdom. They sent a vice president. So, Mr. President, your words ring hollow. You didn't send President Lungu to South Africa. You have not allowed him a dignified funeral. You've heightened the insults against your predecessor. You are scandalizing him every day. You've raised and you are spending a lot of money just to scandalize the family of the late president. So, I found it hollow. Let me play your words, Mr. President. Maybe you're not aware of the full background. I don't understand how you make these remarks, like you're not aware of what you are doing yourself.
From what we see, what we read, they are handling the funeral in the manner African funerals must be handled, to respect the dead, to bury them with dignity. President Buhari died in London. He was brought home. We too have shown that example by burying all the 5 before the 6th president. Near here. I think it's just behind, isn't it? Near here. All the 5. So we've established a tradition, protocols in line with the African culture. So we must continue with that culture, no matter what challenges, what difficulties there are. And I can't say that we've continued engaging the family quietly. Neighbors should confirm that. We've continued engaging the family quietly, because that's what it should be. And we do hope that consensus will be reached. And I want to ask Zambians, first, thank you for your patience. And secondly, to ask you to retain that patience as discussions continue, and so we can do what is right.
How can you allow somebody who has murdered your son or your daughter and you are still mourning to come and attend the funeral and we went to speak at the funeral?
But how good your son
was. And you know about it, you say, wait a minute, what's happening? And I think I can just say the whole thing. I summed it up when I spoke to one guy. I said, because how can you, Ambassador?
Thank you very much. The lines are open. Let me hear from you. That's the update we're giving from South Africa. And the Attorney General has made his submissions. Is stating, good, the lines is buzzing, and let's hear from you. Please speak louder. Good evening. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Mr. Mungwi.
Yes, Mr. Mungu, make your contributions.
Mr. Mwamba. Yes, I'm making my contributions.
Thank you. Proceed.
Lesa le kata maboko na molu kubantu abashaka tamano.
Mkwai.
Ifwe oko twafuma twale te amaliva tulipa bakapanga. Ero nomba leso mwabela ngampe la chance ya kutinteke kyalonga Zambia. Ero nabwekera kumushikulya na asenda bali abanandi bali nabakungu babonse badatwale te na bakapanga tonde entuteke kyalo tete muteke.
Mkwai.
Ikisosa chipamano. Ero batila okwenda babiri temwenso.
Mwapwisha yama.
Umuno uli umu titu salenda. Ichalonga mwala kisenda kitabatila umunani waba ichi atina mayaba ichi tainona. Eifumulefu mfunya Zambi. Panta mwishiwe na nguchimo.
Mkwai, push and wangu yama na mfa fori na nokomle umfa abantu wale tuma. Mkwai.
Ichalo te chakwangala ko iyo. Ababa nensu uko abenkondo. Tabatumba. Ero abantu bala kwatinshita. Abantu bali kwatinshita.
Yama ngamwachila landa mwilayu mfefyo mulelanda.
Ya kwisa manunukanga. Tuyafya abechipama chite chipama bali bomfyo kikatira kwena mamumpanga. Sawe nshile umfwa ndelanda. Bantu ifile chitika nangu ichipuba kuti chaishi bati panota bali mfwaye. So Mwamba epo na apela pupene bantu
Thank you very much. Yeah. The phones are buzzing. Let's hear your views quickly. Make your contribution be brief so that we can allow other people to contribute. Let me make it very, very clear. President Hakainde Hichilema keeps on saying, I'm discussing with the family. There are negotiations with the family. To my knowledge, since that Thursday when he cancelled the funeral mourning and he said the country should return to normalcy, there has been no formal or informal engagements. I just mentioned people that have turned up in South Africa, but there are no formal talks. He reminds me of this. Remember when he kept on saying, I'm speaking to my predecessor, I'm speaking to President Lungu. And President Lungu was forced to come out to the public and said, we won't finish Alanda Po. Because I last spoke to him in 2022, but he keeps on telling the country that he's speaking to me. I thought I could make that very clear. Good evening. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from and make your contributions.
Thank you. First and foremost, Balungu, mukumwana mufyo mikarire bale ikala mwala monoko bati bantu bale losha. I used to tease him, like when I see him, whichever funeral is invited to say no, the chief mourner. Mwala sango kubati bale ya kufilirwe fingi, whether if you have a PF or whoever I knew, he used to attend the funerals. So chinga wamisha na ifutwa balosha ngefe bale losha banabo. That's why I've been insisting. Of course, I mean, we can have so many issues to talk about to justify why he should be buried in South Africa, but there's no decision, justifiable decision we can make to support that. The best decision we can ever make is to bury him in Zambia. Because even if we say no, we will put him in South Africa. Eventually, after some time, someone or some people, it might be another generation, they will rise up to say, no, let's bring him back. And then that generation will sit down and say, so what made these people to conclude and say, let's bury him in South Africa? You mean they couldn't just resolve their issues? Because, I mean, there can never be any issue that can justify him being buried in South Africa. No, there can never be any justifiable.
Thank you, my brother. You know, they say, Ichaloli Shilu, Tabaka Kaweka. So things are not as simple as that, and they're quite delicate. Good evening. Tell us your name and where you are calling us from. Good evening. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Hello.
Good evening. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Good evening. Just call me Jay. I'm calling from Kitwe.
Mr. J, make your contributions.
Yes, my contribution is I would like to just to talk about the hypocrisy of our current president. And if you remember very well, in the book, where an interview was given to the late president, David Patrick Mwanawasa, he told us that this man, the way he carries himself, in such a way that if he does something, it's like it's not him who's doing that. So all those things we are seeing now, those things from South Africa where people are protesting, you are in the right frame to point out that those things are coming from State House. But if you see his body posture from yesterday where he was talking about he was comparing the funeral in Nigeria to the funeral in Zambia, as if he knows nothing, totally as if he knows nothing of what is happening. I think he's not in touch with the ground. It's like he lives in utopia. Look at the post he made on Karemba. The post which they said he's saying the economy is doing well. Go and read the reaction from the Zambians. I've got no words for this man, actually. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. The president says he watches social media, TikTok, WhatsApp. He says, I scan social media every day. He says that. Why hasn't he used a cautionary tale from these insults that are done by praise singers against the legacy of the late president? Why hasn't he allowed or even provided guidance to ZMBC and to affiliate media like Koswe and others to be sensitive during this period? He doesn't realize that he has escalated the matter in this environment, in this hostile environment. So please call and participate. And like the caller said, he finds it utter hypocrisy. Please be brief when you call. There are so many people that want to participate in the program, and Nipa Friday, we have to rest. Hello, good evening. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Yes, Chandela speaking. How are you, Vamwamba?
I'm very well, thank you, Chanda. Please make your contributions.
Yes, firstly, I want to thank you for giving me this opportunity to contribute. What I can contribute on the happenings currently, Zambians, we need to wake up. We need to do things like matured people. because abantu baletuseka. We are like tulechitefia mano sana, but not. Why? When I talk about the former president issue, that issue is supposed to be sorted out by the government. Pano mafia po. Now it's like someone want to show bamboni. Wow, bale kumwena. Here there is the family. That family need comfort.
Emkwai sondweleleni yama.
Hello?
Sondweleleni.
Hello?
Yes, we can hear you.
Bamwamba.
We can hear you, my brother. Wind up. Oh, he's gone. Hello?
Hello?
Hello, good evening. You are back, my brother?
Yes, I'm back. Victor from the United Kingdom.
Victor, even when you are UPND, sometimes you have to be national in your approach. I've just noted, I've just noted your comments your views the last 3-4 days. You've become our regular, and I'm glad that you offer the alternative voice. But be national, be patriotic, my brother, on certain issues.
Okay, so first and foremost, I think you're talking to a different Victor. I have never contacted you in the last few days.
Oh, okay. Sorry. There's a caller from the United Kingdom. I'm sorry, Victor. I'm sorry. Then it doesn't apply to you. You don't have to answer. Proceed.
Yeah. So first and foremost, I think mine is it's a very critical kind of view, because I think we are, if you look at it critically, Ambassador, we are headed towards a very a very hurtful country, a country that is deeply troubled with pain. When you're a leader, especially our President Hakainde Hichilema, he's been lamenting on how many times he's been arrested and all these things that he talks about, but he's had the ability now to lead. I feel, or I should say, that he should have taken things differently to heal this country. Unfortunately, he's plunging it into, I can't even imagine what our country is going into right now. You look at, the kind of talk that is there. You look at the kind of rhetoric that is there. You look at the kind of social media is plunged into. I don't even know if how did we reach this level as a country?
Yeah.
And in the midst of a funeral, again, I was hoping that our president would rise above all these, this pettiness, or this, the vulgarness. But unfortunately, he promotes some of these pages, like the fact that he's quiet about it, the fact that he doesn't say anything about it, it speaks volumes of the kind of leader that he is. I expect him to have been the bigger person. Yes, if you went through what you went through, you can show love. And that would have shown that, indeed, he's a leader that, he's up to the task. But unfortunately, it may not be the case. I was expecting something different, and then we see the speaker in the National Assembly talked about Tasila. And I'm saying, when is this country really going to take a different direction? Because all we see is just chaos after chaos after chaos. You see, it may be indirectly, but it speaks to the PF how the ECZ chairperson also speaks about regalia. Like every single week, we're deeply troubled by the pain that is being invested in. And to be honest, Ambassador, if nothing is done, I don't know the next 5 years, or even just the next 1 year as we head towards the election, what is going to happen. I can't even imagine it. I can't even comprehend what is going to happen.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's my comment.
No, my brother, you are very thoughtful. Thank you very much. I apologize again. There's a dear brother calling from the United Kingdom that I want to reprimand. So I'm sorry it's not you. Thank you. Good evening. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Anonymous, I'm calling from US.
Anonymous, make your contributions.
Mr. Mwamba, thank you for presenting this program very well, my big brother. I just want to comment on the issue of our late president. The Attorney General has submitted. I was trying to go through what the Attorney General wrote. Mwamba, chilomfuishenso nero lesa nimaliotola ala leta abantu palwelele nabantu abakwite fyamano nabachitanda fimwe bantu bakwaleza waisa tuwelele niko sangeni nshira imbio twala chitera mwefintu ipakwati tubike mubiri wabayashi but chile muneko kweba ati aba bantu teti bachite bayiminina pamufulo ero abantu balipo beminine chimbi bamwambe tunalalanda lero saibalo yaikalira fe bamwamba nabambi isaibalo omuntu ayiminina alelanda n'okulanda omuntu wenu ali mu fridge twakula mipange fefine abo bantu tulelanda balenda fe bwino bakateeka anabekala mu State House balelya n'okulya balewunfwa bwenu lyawumbya isula kufya akantu ati alande kufa ekintu bayikata bakaka lero bakambwire baleseevi ushe bamwamba ebutungulu kitwala evotera obukwe bati uyu muntu esabye omusango efi ekyo kitulelomba mu Zambians ngefyo bambya amakolazi balelanda tentwimya pasweka n'okumuna okweba tuwesheyo ikyalo kyeso olwo tuweshe obuntungu obweso bantu fe tuleyako bamwamba kimbi kyo nalami kitako rimanja kweba tino nshita namwalolesha nabalanda tribalism alaba mwamba ekyalo nakyakanika ino nshita abantu tabaikateni abantu nomba natutalukana febe twalekala pepi natulekana pantu takuli okumfwana bakateeka yole na panta nshokulalanda omusango feri. In my conclusion bamwamba lekeni family chitefya ilefo okuchita nabalefo okushika ku South Africa balekeni bashike ku South Africa pantu natumona mokwebati ifili panu mayabu teko tafilingiremo efyo balefa abachite tafilifya asuminishwa kuli ifo twe bantu balemona umufashwa mwamba pali kame ikalamba sana mama shalanda sana na
thank you. And just speaking, you know, even the Vice President, W.K. Mtarena Lumango herself, also even issued disparaging remarks referring to the former president, Yo Chiwa, you know, Yo is a frozen fish. You know, Pharaoh, 5,000 years, they can preserve a body, 5,000 years. There were no fridges then. Now, we keep a body for 1 year without a fridge. It's like people are just totally ignorant. They don't even know that there are preservative methods that can keep a body very well. But if you see the insults, they are insulting the late president in life and in death. And President Hakainde Hichilema is very, very quiet. Someone said, president. He gave us an idea of Efewakulire. Just listen to this.
I would like to answer it in a simple way. Earlier I said life is a story, it's a journey. I think it matters how you were brought up. I was brought up in a cattle culture. You went out as an 8-year-old boy, 9-year-old boy, and to tender cattle, you took out 100, you came back with 99, you were not allowed to go to bed. The male family members would ballock you, but my mother would actually be less helpful. She will pour water on my bed so that I cannot go to bed. I have to go back and find that animal. Simple. Normal. It was looking painful. On reflection, I simply bow my head and say, thank you very much.
That's a traumatic past where members of the family, the male members of the family would beat you, would ballock you. Then your mother would put water on your bed until you find that cattle. Just hold on and please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
My name is Alex. Good evening, Ambassador.
Alex, make your contributions.
Yeah, it's very, very unfortunately to belong to a country such as this one under the leadership of this man. It's an embarrassment. And bantu fyonse firechitika media. At least there is no way you hate a man even in his death like that. And the levels of hypocrisy is way too much with the church. 2 days ago, he was saying, he was talking like quite monument here. Okay, no, they have lost the track in terms of African values, how we bury. And yet, underground is sending people to insult. He's sending people. At the point, ECZ does even ban the regalia of this year. Look how bad our country is today and is divided. I'm not supporting these things, but Rwanda, there was a genocide in Rwanda. Things started like this. We belong to certain groupings in that country. And the moment we see a Tonga today, sorry to say this.
No, my brother, don't go there. That's a very sensitive subject. I'll just cut you there. Make your other contributions, issues of genocide and even Facebook flags them off because you require to explain your point. So don't go there. Let's discuss other matters. You can discuss the weakness of the current president, but don't go to issues of genocide or Tonga.
No, I was not coming to say. I was saying these are the things that brings confusion.
I know, but it's a very difficult subject. So even when you say words like like genocide on Facebook, they will shut us. Is what I mean. So that's what I'm guiding. Make your contribution, criticize the president, but keep away from that subject.
Okay, so my point is we need to stand united, and the president should not bring his hypocrisy publicly because he's a head of state. It is within himself to bring the country together, even when we are mourning such times like this.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Just to guide. Remember, we are telling the president not to practice hate speech. We can't be like them. They insult us every day. They are ridiculing the president even in death. We can't be like them. We have to be different. Hello. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Zephania from Lusaka, Zambia.
Zephania, make your contributions.
Yes, Wamwamba. Ushina mumfwako.
Njeba muntu wani.
Government ya wantu babufi. Apaso bachilala kaba FRA board chairman na wa minister acting wakapala. Badela ndati awe amataba awe iri ashi. So nomba yeso ndefo okulandako la contribution yandi. Ushe ba 2.8 million. If you have voted, if you want to let them India, but every day, but to be a move leadership, Monica Fioko Idea, Bafiro Kushka, Umuntu. Oh, we should have a Catizona, Valimu Firwa. Instead, you are Chefia. Ubu Chefia, Chefia, Neveka, Alanda Tower Party, Nari Panga mistake. Bamwambanga mule kushema mwalisa landa pwede nkalati ya September ya wakanine wa presidenti Lungu atawe bali wakanina bali mimina imwe vamercenaries wa watchdog wa Koswe awe abufi. We are going to sue him, he is going to be shani lero vasumina ati awe chachine balungu bali ishi bati balerwala nomba echo bati walire balungu kukoti na family ya chinshi. Oh, if so batwala balungu, how are they going to feel? How is President Hakainde Hichilema feeling that the submission which was made by Attorney General, this is an embarrassment to the government, this is an embarrassment to us Zambians, even 2.8 million. our president, he was bragging, he was saying that when I come, you are going to see the leadership which I'm going to bring, and you are going to see the people I'm going to appoint. When you look at the cabinet, our president, they can't match with the late president Edgar Lungu's cabinet. Look at the way you are articulating issues.
Thank you, Zephania.
You are part of that cabinet which brought development in the last 7 years. Even Vasada, may his soul rest in peace. Lelo, the president Yakainde, Valera ndati awe, tatulefuaya, then tabalefano kumonana, even Ligaria, just Ligaria where Valungu, Epovali, then on.
Thank you, Zephanias. Thank you very much. Hello, good evening. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Your brother, Chanda.
Oh, Mr. Chanda, is that our dear brother Chanda from Australia?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mamwamba, this is a testament. I've just been watching. Therefore, what I'm believing, we've got more than, I don't know, over 20,000 people that are online. Over what I'm believing. You used to have maybe 250 people. Number, we are banding together. And what we are going to do, the monetization, we are going to teach these people a lesson. This one I have shown. But you are trying to be too overprotective over me. You don't want me to speak. You don't want me to say what also.
Munelanda lande chiri kumutima. Lande chiri kumutima. Paron pamulava sawa chalo. I just guide. That's all I do. Even to loyal. Even to loyal.
Over 1.5 hours.
Mm-hmm.
And he was saying, you know, I know he stopped me. And for Umuntu Waziri, to tell me that things are going to get worse. It's not good.
So,
and he told me, he says, no.
So what is your contribution today, Bachanda?
My contribution is basically, I think he's got my contribution is to say, Tumufunye, Chagwa, I want to listen to people. I want you to listen.
Thank you, Muntwandi. I'm in Australia, Valanda. He's been a follower from day one when I began the broadcast the other month, and is very impressed with the huge numbers that are following us. We are grateful to God. We're just providing a platform for our people, and if you scan the numbers from every other page, the numbers are extremely impressive. But we thank God. It's just a platform for, my role is just to give you a platform for you to air your views. I don't discriminate whether it's UPND or PF. I allow you to speak. Please make your contribution, sir, and introduce yourself.
My name is Lamek. I'm calling you within Lusaka.
Lamek, make your contributions.
Yes. My contribution is on Dr. Patrick Chagwa, who had said that government at any point in shape of Edgar Lungu for medical treatment. But now, Bakavesha, my submission is Pretoria now and that government avasuminishi. So no banshi, Shishinganshi Chilipo, but Dr. Patrick Chagwa. Secretary the cabinet, whatever the land fishing.
Thank you very much. That's a good submission. I think that one is from Kasama. It's very brief. It's not like Zephania Piri. Zephania writes long paragraphs like me, and he wants to speak in long paragraphs. Kasama. My dear brother, please tell us your name and where you are calling us from. Yole salet sunga bane mulishani.
Awe na natwikala kwatirimbi
tuli mchalo cha nkondo kuno ku Zambia.
Mkwai.
Neo Teddy nkunka pakabwapa.
But Teddy landeni pona imwe.
Mkwai, bamwamba ine ifefe ndemo na ife bale rwire chitumbi bode abalungu kwa atumona whatever the derailment we are seeing is because of this government. They never, I think it's like, to me na senda tabale fire no ko at maybe bashikire muno mu Zambia. No wonder bale station se bale staba government. Now the question is umuntu alanda tichiriro chapwa. Ero mwamba futati tulefwa mwise mushikire muno mutwise tushikire muno mu Zambia. Ero ni shichiriro cha na bakanya we have cancelled ichiriro. Now wishe ifefi nefe balirire chiriro anga efyo bakose bali economy. This time upunganga dresta 50 kwacha. But wachita concentrate kufintu efyo tafiwa kumine the hatred we saw the time the former president, the late, the time he was alive, it was too much. Even in death, they are still mocking our former president. There are UPND cadres here in Chagwa who are saying that nangu twatobalachi billboard nangu wasabankanye tafikwe tenchito because ichiriro batekere ku South Africa te kuno nishita bagamba tikire billboard uko kwine ku South Africa.
Were those people arrested? Hello, my brother. The people that destroyed the billboard for President Edgar Lungu last week, have they been arrested? Are you aware of anything like that?
No one has been arrested. There is no any investigation. The time I reported this case by Central Police, I was told confidently by the police to say, we'll engage you. Very soon we'll start the investigation. Not even investigation. Me, I even told them to say, I have these names. Start with these two names first of these cadres. These cadres, one of them, after Ngawaikato Umuomfe over there, Black Mountain here in Chagwa. To go back to our police and start threatening Wakapuka to say, all of you naraming Shama sales Uyanga Tamamufunye. Apopene Wakapuka Bari Mufunyo Mundowa Engishe, Weka Wakurikada. So these policemen, they have no authority and the power of members, I'm telling you. We have been reporting cases here in Chagwa concerning the cadres. No one has been arrested. We have a case of Charweka Ume who was threatened by the cadres. Abali Sevento Kumkonga Pashop wanted to kill him. After reporting that case, up to date, no one has been arrested. We have another case of Davis Chiu who was abducted by the cadres of UPND, taken to a known place. I have even the photos, the way he was beaten. I was part of those people. We were told by the police to say, go and arrest these people. Imagine, complainant arrest Mundu Kumine. What did we do? Twali booking a moto kanokwela akapokola bali kofe mpepi to say, twika treni ko varia. After kwatwala pa police, ukuwe karika pa spuna. You imagine, umuntu ukweto mlandu kume karika pa spuna no kutwa atikavien. The moment we are leaving the police station, Nabe Nababa Funya to go home. Up to now, none of these cadres has been arrested.
Thank you.
The question is,
thank you.
Does it mean Zambia has turned into animal farm? Where other people they are special, others they are not. You see, even lies. Anyone from the opposition, us who are PF, non-PF, from the opposition, the moment we are reported to police, is this the way we should live? We need to stand in our country. Zambia does not belong to the UPNDs alone. Zambia belongs to every one of us.
Thank you. Thank you, my brother.
I call this government a new caretaker. A caretaker cannot take care of someone's house. So the real government have Zambia. But there is some 2026. And the truth of the matter, we need to have strategy how we are going to guard our votes. Because our caretaker, they are determined to remain in power of Mwamba. The other thing as I conclude, the other thing is about
the way ffe tuleikala ffe bamwamba ifine balelanda tamataba na balina tulima amatabai we have wait because batemwesha amasampo they want to start exporting amataba kwisa ku Congo kwambo kushitisha we have been told to say 1 million plus they want to start exporting because they are used mukusampwisha efintu. Now we want to tell them we on our efintu before that rise of power 2026. Let them go in peace, not to go on our chalo. Thank you very much, Lesampare.
Wonderful, our brother from Kabwe. Good evening, my caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
I'm calling from Chagwa as well.
Okay. Please, resident from Kabwe, are you giving us your name or you are remaining anonymous?
Anonymous.
Anonymous, make your contributions.
Thank you. To start with, Ambassador Mwamba Mulishani.
Yole Salet Sunga.
I'm Kwaya Unare Msunga Resachira Buskunge Fofini. First and foremost, narafu ya kukulanda cooperation with mwili idia mfoya ba president wa Edgar Lungu. Ukutila, I'll just be brief. Ukutila kwe bati, abo abantu wa Attorney General mumwene ba muliro kabesha. N'abasebana. Ukusebana basebene okutira kwe bati. Ififonse ba HH balechita ukutuma muliro kabesha okutira kwe bati bayekulya kuya mukustira family bale mise kutwara family ku court balefu ayo kubatirya bale abantu bonse attention ya Zambians ni cyalo yayekula ku South Africa so that kuno ku Zambia abo abantu bengire background banshi no kwambo kubumbana ba ECZ okutiro kwebati wona ule bonse ba opposition bekasanga okutiro kwebati mwakwata ukuya background flat tukya mukusta campaign ngeso bene balenda balesta campaign. So as at now, what the strategy ya kuturo kwebati we can go abantu background bale mone so bale ibindala mamutalo neso bale pela makadazi wabo neso bale ingira background ukwe mukona ula sintu silipanshi bantu bonse abantu atole amano ku court kula ku South Africa. That issue we know, even Alainde Jilema himself, he knows to say bali lose the case bantu so bachitire kintu kyonsa bena Zambia balamona abena Zambia tetuba bepeyo. So ambassador ukulomba kwanda okuturo kwebati konko misheni wa abali mu patriotic fund like Ntungurushi na benshi ba opposition bonse bakala kwa tabene hari kala Fred Membe bonse bene kasondo mwenda bonse wesbete mu pepi bakuturo kwebati muri bule cyalo ero ba ambassador leta shami bebe imwe mweba ati ba mwaisa banga bantu ifo mulebo mbela abantu tuwe kwata kwa at least na kwamu na ya kulanda kuna kuchalo bantu ifo ngamarosha kuntansho kutuleya ishinto kutuleya makamanga marosha sana after ibario yaba ECL nga bashikwa ukonde somu ine mukuru akasominisha ngane kwisanga bashikwa mbewe fishing kokuturo kwebati a lot of people ama targets yaba UPND balefo kutwala ba opposition bonse kwisa kujele so that bakese winta ama elections ukwabula opposition wino yakosa batwalera bakwata opposition bantu so ambassador akupelekona alekera nalalomba ko vechinchimo mwipesa sana amano ku court kweka iyo ya South Africa mwene kona mu system so bale ona ole chintu wa UPND abantu baleranda abantu baleke tondoro bale lo factor ko batubura bushikuburya nga mwabika candidate uwo mukabika bonse bakasupporta automatically akainde chile makarusa ya 10 hours and by 10 hours the court will appreciate against the dollar. That is the 10 hours going to lose the election, just like in America preferum prua kwa rushire kamara arushire 10 hours na rusa election kwa America. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Hello. Good evening. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from. Oh, bamunkonge ku East London. Bana mulishani. Endita. London po yama bwangu.
Emkwai bamwamba kwena chimbinde ko sente
we na chumfa mwaso so kwe bati uruparo ba muri treat de konseresha fyo uruparo konkanye poku ba muri treat le satapari ochafi Erio then munshira imbi chinture sara bure chibi yakiribura cyabe kisuma twali chumone chibi cyakwe bati umubiri taurere wangu lero munshira imbi umubiri nawo kwate ubupiriburo kuri ivo fwe bari pacharo bantu twambo kwishibe fintu fote twali ngiri okwishiba pamurando akwe bati umubiri taurere wangu nga walirara wangu dimbyamenso yesu mutatwa fimu wiki okumona abantu bamo mibere yabo fo yaba so twakora konkanya fe oku pepera po inshita yonse lesale paraba mwamba ale parale samurenda fe mutenderio amashuwi yambinga alera ndikwa yamoneka kwati takwete upiribiro oro barandire baisi yawati busheburo shi nango bushiro katwishifira barandire ababa fyasha baba fyasha baba ku state house bari pangire confusion pali basata pali memory abasata again watari piti basa panga na imbi confusion pa muntu arebe bati busheburo shi so isiyo barandira mufwa ukuturango mu bapya chonse fifire chitikabena bari pita mwaka so fwe bantu katwikatane tuwese shecharo muri bumuntu.
Thank you.
Abantu abafana no abashisumina.
Thank you Bamunkonge.
Abashani
Thank you.
Yabo number 1 bakuba join of irore fana no. Bantu nsha mfapo basumine fe barufienyi. Chisuma bamwamba na pera ko chance abanandi abapiana boba twebe kofe bakwete matontonkanyo yabo.
How can you allow somebody who has murdered your son or your daughter and you are still mourning to come and attend the funeral and we went to speak at the funeral?
But how good your son
was. And you know about it, you say, wait a minute, what's happening? And I think I can just say the whole thing, I summed it up when I spoke to one guy. I said, because how?
Hello, please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
I'm calling you from, hello?
Yes, please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
I'm calling you from Kenya.
Okay, wonderful. Make your contributions.
You see, sir, my name is John. Ambassador, if you remember, I'll take you back. There was an accident which happened in 2013 or whatever. I can't remember the year exactly, but the accident I'm referring to is the Chiwombo accident, where 54 or 53 people passed on with a post bus. If you remember very well, the church, the country, and many other people went for prayers and fasting because it was a tragedy that Zambia had never experienced. The question is, if you look at how many accidents from the time Bamdara Vaichi Pampando, that got an accident, that the church, even the government, has not encouraged people to pray like it happened before. So the question is, if you look at Bamdara, he celebrates Mfidiro. That's where it may be sacrifices are happening from Fidiro. We are now told that there are Freemasons in the country. And what does the Constitution say about the Freemasons? Okay. Now they are able to gather openly, so you can tell each children chaba former president ichi. Now got more interest. And interest yo, maybe ni sacrifice. Now I'm gonna feel bored, maybe when I'm gonna feel bored, waka definitely then waka popular. So the family should not allow the body to be buried in that country. Simple, and thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I remember that accident that occurred bus. In fact, there's even a musician who sang a song because he lost his wife in there. You know him, a very moving song. But the church is right, went and prayed at that site. And I think we haven't had the number of accidents that we had like we used to have in that area. Sometimes there are places for the church, and maybe the crisis we have is a crisis for the church to help intervene. Good evening, please tell us your name and where you are calling us from. Good evening, please tell us your name and where you are calling us from. Mute your other device.
This is Isa Umbewe calling you from Chipata, Zambia.
Isa, make your contributions.
Thank you, Ambassador Mwamba. Very much appreciated. This program is so informative, and it's helping us to understand and learn a lot of things. My contribution, Mr. Ambassador, in brief, there's this narrative which is out there, which is being propagated about the funeral for our late president. And the UPND claims to say it's the family which is adamant and not wanting to have ECL to be buried in Zambia. But my view is that it's the UPND who have actually instigated this whole thing to come this far. And in my own view, I can safely say, if the president stayed away from this funeral, I think by ECL by now could have been buried. And I'm sure even the family could have rested. But it is because of the selfishness of these people who have the government and the state machinery that would want to actually hold everything to themselves and portray not actually listening and yielding to the pleas of the people of Zambia. But it's indeed the government and the UPND government which is selfish, and this is how far things have become. People should not be misled to say the family is doesn't want Israel to be buried in Zambia. I'm sure they would have really loved that the late president was buried in Zambia. But because the UPND, with their adamantness and their greed, and I don't know what really their interest is and what they would want to achieve by all this, or even by the and getting their president to view the body. I don't know what they would want to achieve. But for me, I can just say and propose, let the president just stay away. Whatever he would want to achieve, whether it is out of his personal interest or the party's interest, they should just throw it under the carpet and let the family mourn. And by so doing, I'm sure the ECL could have been given a befitting and dignified burial by now. I thank you, Bamam.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much. We are going up to the hour. We are 7 minutes away from the hour. Let me begin to take the last calls. Today is Friday. I would like you to take some rest. Good evening. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Okay.
Mkwaita twikele bwino.
Namushaba mwamba weso.
Mkwai.
Joseph nechitika like for bangi twadishiba. Namushwa nangu interest ya kwebati Edgar Lungu bakese shikira muno mu Zambia tabakwata. If Joseph balechita fati to distract us ukuposa mano sana kushia chililo cha shani bachuku wale panga madiuzi mwamona baleta kwechi nangu ifine bapangila ti no regalias eno bamitwala futi ukumu alaba ko mwatampo kula konko mwamona ukubena wale panga fya madiuza abantu ni ba shonongo bakawalala pompwe mushibile nsala so nangu ifyonse wale panga ti shani wakabesha banani tamwamona ti they don't even coordinate kuyukuti alande fi bachuku bonse nga twaposa kwa mano bena nishibale panga madiuzi mamona panshi paniti mashabo teti bafwaye nokufwaya nangu fyabalanda ti bale fwaye bodi ise kuno wake situke seshika kuno tabafikwatile benchito ifyonse it's just to distract us.
Yeah.
Tufunye kwa attention, to paying attention kufi walela ndoku bachuku bale panga madiuzi bale iwa bale tasha nabo na ule chalo teti mutemwe napela.
Thank you very much, and thank you for your contribution. Please call. We have to wind up. It's Friday today, and we want to hear your last views on our broadcast. Good evening. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from. Yeah, hello. Good evening. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from. Hello. Oh, sorry. Let's pick another call. I'm taking the last calls. Good evening. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Hi, this is Tina calling from the United States.
Tina, make your contributions.
Yeah, the only thing that I really want to say is that, first of all, the president is selfish and very self-centered. Loved one in her. On house, Charo Chawaza, it won't see. It's not that the Zambia is just the only country from a lot of people live in Zambia. We are watching Zambia from off. And to be honest, as a Zambian person, we are really ashamed of whatever the president is doing that side. If there was something going on, they should have just put, differences aside and allowed the family to bury him in peace. But where they were about HH, doesn't want that. He doesn't want to leave the family so that they can mourn in peace. If it's for up to that family, they would have. Now, but I'm not delaying. The reason why they're delaying is was making all the delays. And when he goes to the camera, he pretends he wants to be so, like he's doing everything right. When behind the doors, he's doing something, I'm an example Nigerian. The former president from Nigeria was buried in a very peaceful. But Edgar Lungu, he's mortuary by now, and being is him, you know. So that my only contribution for now. The only thing I want to say as a Zambian, I just want to say that they can do better. They can do better, you know. And I believe I know there are some people who can think, but they're just scared. And that's the reason why I brought that thing, whatever they call it, cyber law, cyber whatever. He brought that thing is because he doesn't want Zambians to express themselves. That's why he put nothing on, you know. And as a Zambian, you have the rights, you have the freedom to express yourself. But some Zambians now, they're scared of, you know, saying whatever they feel to express themselves because they don't want to go to jail, you know. And I feel like in Zambia, there's no any kind of freedom. Dictatorship. In Zambia, now you guys have dictatorship. You don't have freedom in Zambia because nobody can speak. Because HH will allow people to be jailed. And that is not good for the country. It's not perfect for Zambia. Those people, HH never voted for himself. People of Zambia voted for HH. But now, unfortunately, now he's forgetting about all